Hi, the topic that I decided to cover was the first four strategies, which are clear and measurable visions of a learning target, modeling strong and weak work, providing descriptive feedback during learning, and helping students to self-assess and set goals. And if you hadn't guessed already, yes, my presentation is about food. Food itself is like learning. We all need it, we all do it, and there are definitely different ways to prepare it, as well as food of varying qualities, varying varieties, all that. So, the first target, or the first strategy, is setting learning targets with students. And I thought that there were three sub-strategies to this. There's stating the goals as they are, there's providing student-friendly language, or there's providing a rubric or a tool of some sort. And I thought for the first strategy, saying it as it is, what better example than an apple? Apples, in and of themselves, unprepared, are absolutely delicious. There's nothing you need to do to an apple to change its deliciousness. However, if you might have a student that isn't able to eat it, like, per se, a baby, then you would probably have to modify your food, have to mash it up, turn it into applesauce, which is still a delicious product. It's still something great that tastes excellent, but it has to be turned into a product that the students would be able to digest and consume. The third mini strategy would be a rubric, or I thought maybe a knife. Because a knife can cut apples, it provides students with a tool that when they are taught to use it, they can use it to create what they want, change the learning the way that they need it into smaller pieces, larger pieces, whatever they need. The second strategy is providing modeling strong and weak work. And I thought there was no better example than bread. Now you might think, bread, what is that supposed to mean? Basically, I've had German bread and I've had American bread. American bread, it's alright, honestly. Like, once you've had the German bread, you kind of know American bread, like sliced up like that, it's not the greatest product. But you wouldn't really know that until you've had the German bread, would you? I mean, just look at this German bread. Like, I can't even describe how delicious it tastes, and that is definitely strong work. But you wouldn't know that until you've tried it, until you've been exposed to it. So we as teachers need to go ahead and expose our students to both strong and weak work before they can understand. Because honestly, Germans, when they come to America, they hear that the bread's bad, but they don't really know it until they actually sit down and try some of that stuff. And that's really like why this is such a great example, because there's strong and there's weak. And so the third target, providing regular and descriptive feedback, is also really important, because our students are going to have to create products, and we need to be able to tell them what they are. And I thought, well, there's about three different things. There's grades that you can get, there's feedback you can get from mentors, and there's feedback you can get from students. And I thought grades were most like a food critic. They're going to tell you what it's like, they're going to tell you the most important thing, what it's like, what it tastes like, but they don't really give you important feedback. They're like the grades that we get. They say A, that's good, or F, that's bad, and you don't get any more information than that. However, if you are a teacher, you're like the head chef teaching your students, telling them, hey, this is how you're supposed to do this. Cut up this onion this way, keep going with it the way that it is, or you need to do this better. And that's really important to have that feedback. No, the chef isn't going to eat it and enjoy it, but he's going to provide you the important information. And we also have our peers to give us feedback too. They can taste it, they can tell you what's good and what's not good, and they can also tell you what they've learned and what their experience is, because they're in the same place that you are. So students will also be more perceptive to peer feedback. The fourth strategy is learning to self-assess. A lot of the things that we have trouble with in America is figuring out what is good to eat and what is not good to eat. There's so many different things out there, and we as people and our students have to find out what is good and what's not. So I thought fast food was a great example for that. Fast food looks delicious, it tastes delicious, and you can eat it and be alright for the most part until you start consuming it to a much larger degree, and then it becomes apparent that it really isn't that great for you. And it's so much like the fourth strategy, self-assessing the goals. We have to remind ourselves that there are goals that we are setting, and there's goals that we need to follow through with. And just kicking the fast food is important to let our students know they have to evaluate it. And this fourth strategy is a lot like the other strategies, or it implements the other strategies. It provides us with the information that we need. It allows us to see what strong modeling is, and we can begin to teach our students to write recipes, which will lead them through what they're learning. And those recipes are what eventually allows them to remember how to do the things they need to know how to do, and how to take all that information that they've learned and compile it and create that quality product. So in conclusion, food offers us delicious and unique perspective into these first four strategies, in that it fits, in that it sometimes needs to be prepared, can definitely be better or worse, often requires feedback from mentors and peers to be improved, and should be assessed by students themselves. Guten Appetit.